Greetings once again, geeks and gamers. It's once again time for This Week in Gaming, where we strive to get you covered up with all the latest news in gaming. It has been another exciting week for gaming, so let's dive in. First up, in This Week in Gaming, we have great news for Sword Art Online fans, as the Sword Art Online alicization like Chorus might be coming to Nintendo Switch. With many developers working on anime games, thanks to their growing popularity, we have seen a huge number of anime games released in the past 5 years. Sword Art Online alicization like Chorus, released in 2020, was one of the most anticipated titles that year simply because of the huge fandom of the franchise. However, the game was not released across all platforms until now. According to a leak from a digital retail store called the EB Games Australia, the game might be coming to Nintendo Switch very soon. The game was mentioned among many other in an email listing showing all games coming to Switch. However, no release date has been confirmed as of now. In another news, Capcom sales seem to have increased by 62.5% on Steam in the last year. Capcom has many amazing titles under its belt, including Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, and Devil May Cry. Hence, it is no doubt when the last fiscal year ended, the company's Steam sales were reported to have been increased by 62.5%. Capcom made about 17.2 billion yen last year from its Steam sales. This amounts to almost 126 million US dollars, accounting for 15.6% of the company's sale for 2022. The boost in sales might also be due to the platform PC and Steam provided Capcom to reach certain regions of the world. All we can say is, with titles like Devil May Cry and Resident Evil, the achievement of Capcom was well deserved. Moving on the newly released title Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes stealing the top spot in Japanese charts. This week, Japanese sales charts placed Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes on the top as it managed to score 97,538 units already. This marks a great achievement by the newly released game. On the second number was Nintendo Switch Sports, selling out 19,255 copies. The fourth place on the chart was well held by Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Meanwhile, PlayStation managed to sell 9,181 units, and the Xbox Series X/S sold about 8,915 units this week. However, it was surely a surprise to see Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes at the top of the list with a tough competition like this. In another news, we have a new title set to release in 2023 by Sabotage Studios called Sea of Stars. The beautiful pixelated game has a great storyline with amazing visuals. Sea of Stars was officially announced 2 years ago, and now it's officially set to release in 2023. The developers tweeted, quote, "Keeping in mind our two main priorities, quality of life for our team and quality for the finished game, we can now confirm Sea of Stars to be released in 2023, end quote. The turn-based RPG is highly anticipated, and with the amount of effort and time the developers are putting into it, we are sure it might be the best release of 2023. Apparently, it seems that Halo.API is shutting down officially due to financial rumors. Halo is a dearly loved franchise, but the players of this game seem to face one problem after another. Recently, players had to meet another unfortunate news as Halo.API, the unofficial API service for the Halo franchise, officially announced a shutdown on 31st July mainly because of the project's high cost. Keith Horwood, the founder of Autocode, posted on the website about the API shutting down. Halo.API was simply the best in collecting stats and providing other services to the players. There are also some policy issues that refrain the company from sharing data with the API. Players are extremely angry at Microsoft and 343 Industries for not providing API with any funds or data. However, players have taken the matters into their own hands in the form of #SaveHalo.API to collect funds for the API. We can only hope that the players will be able to collect enough funds to save the API. In another news, players sexually harassed the God of War developers after the game's announcement was delayed. Players have been impatiently waiting for the announcement of God of War Ragnarök, but the rumored announcement that something was coming on June 30, as quoted by the industry insiders, was delayed. This caused the players to resort to worst means possible, sexual harassment. Estelle Tegani is a cinematics producer working on God of War. She tweeted that sending her illicit pictures asking for God of War Ragnarok's release won't help. The director Cory Barlog also tweeted in support for her, asking not to send such pictures to the employees or anyone in the industry. Nintendo has started a new subscription-based Switch repair service in Japan. Nintendo Switch is unquestionably a very popular console, and like any other piece of hardware, Switch is also prone to damage. To help repair any problem with Switch, Nintendo has launched a new service called White Care with subscription fee of 200 yen monthly or 2000 yen annually including shipping. In dollars, the amount sums up to $15 per year or $1.50 per month. They can fix any water damage, fall damage, or any natural failure of the console. This service does not cover accessories. Moving on, we have Ubisoft disabling DLC access and servers for its older games to make room for the newer ones. Ubisoft has disabled the online features of 15 titles, including DLCs and multiplayer options. Some of the titles include Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Driver San Francisco, Rayman Legends, and many more. However, the company has decided to keep the offline options available for the game. Companies like Ubisoft make decisions like these after careful consideration. However, some fans seem disappointed with this decision. Next in this week, Square Enix has officially announced the release date and demo date of Diofield. The Diofield Chronicle is a tactical RPG that blends 2D and 3D elements for a better experience. The game was revealed in March 2022 in a State of Play event. Diofield Chronicle is a highly anticipated title set to release on September 22nd, 2022. The demo version is set to be released on August 10th. Let's see if the Diofield Chronicles will live up to its hype or not. Moving on the upcoming Silent Hill game's teaser trailer, the reveal date has been leaked by insiders. Silent Hill is a franchise with a huge fan base, and any of its titles is highly anticipated by gamers. In June of 2022, the director of Silent Hill 2006, Christoph Gans, said a new game and a new feature film might be coming soon. Recently, there was a leak posted by Rebs Gaming, a video games informer and industry insider. It was a 12-second teaser trailer for upcoming Silent Hill game. The game is set to be released on 12th July. Players cannot wait for an official trailer showing a glimpse of what the game has in store for. In another news, Halo Guardians pre-production UI concept designs got leaked. Halo Guardians, when released, faced criticism among fans and is often known to be the downfall of the Halo franchise. Recently, the game's UI concept designs got leaked. They were part of the early game production but never made to the final game. In the final release version of the game, we got to see the 2D UI designs instead of the neat-looking 3D ones. Fans seem to prefer these leaked UI because they are spectacular looking, and it's a shame that these designs never became a part of the game. The 3D UI seems much more advanced and complex than the straightforward and simple 2D UI was, and perhaps maybe that's the reason the idea was dropped. Apparently, it seems that Sony is possibly hiring a software development engineer to improve classic backward compatible titles. The new job listing suggests that the purpose of hiring is solely to work on the classic games. The new PlayStation Plus would allow players to run classical games with its emulation features, and the new engineers would work on them. Their responsibilities would improve old games in various ways by fixing bugs, adding new features, and developing new emulators. The horror visual novel Shinigami Shibito Megire in Japan is apparently releasing for all audiences under the name Spirit Hunter Death Mark 2 by 2023. The game takes place in a Tokyo suburb. The protagonist Kazuo Yoshiki is infiltrating a school to investigate a series of gruesome and mysterious spiritual incidents. Like its prequel, the game features a point-and-click gameplay style and quick time events. It seems that GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption remasters are not under development as suggested by an insider. Both GTA and Red Dead Redemption are amazing titles developed by Rockstar. It was rumored back then that the remasters of these games were in development. However, Rockstar backed out on these projects. According to an industry insider, it may be due to the fact that GTA Trilogy Remake got a bad reception among fans and proved to be a failure. A real Yakuza plays with a controller, and it's time to grab one because Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, and Yakuza Kiwami 2 are back on Xbox Game Pass. Fans were previously unhappy when these games were taken down. However, Xbox Game Pass is a subscription service and changes are inevitable. Players can now enjoy these action-packed games that puts them in the conflict-ridden city of Kamurocho. Yakuza 0 was a prequel to the original Yakuza games, while Yakuza Kiwami and Kiwami 2 were remakes that improved the graphics and certain aspects of the gameplay, including combat, significantly. With over 17 million copies sold, the Yakuza games are certainly worth your time with their engaging plot and fierce combat. Hypercharged Unboxed was a popular first-person shooter back then in 2020. Often players called it if Toy Story was an FPS. Due to its art style and various elements, the developers are working day and night to give Xbox players an amazing gaming experience as well. Over 20,000 players have signed up for the newsletter regarding the game. Xbox players would be getting great features including a split-screen co-op gameplay. Diablo Immortal continues to reach new heights, and it seems that the game has accumulated nearly $50 million in just the first months of its release. However, the game got poor reviews and a lot of players complained about the game being pay to win. The microtransactions and various in-game purchases may have been the cause for the game earning a huge profit. Recently, this light trailer was taken down because of racist imagery that it contained. With the release of their Aminate Bloody Hunt trailer, the franchise has been under controversy. The trailer shows a black non-playable character, and as players can see, the image contains elements that could not be ignored. However, the trailer was re-uploaded and it was fixed. This light's repetition got some damage, and it's hard to determine if it was intentional or a mere mistake. In other news, Horizon Forbidden Patch 1.17 adds VRR and HFR support. Both features were highly requested and they improve gameplay significantly. Variable refresh rate feature would target players running the game at 40 FPS. The higher refresh rate will also improve the gameplay greatly. The VRR mode improves dynamic resolution at 60Hz mode. Both VRR and HFR would target a higher refresh rate between 60Hz and 120Hz. Players will be able to run the game at balanced graphics at about 40 FPS. To bring you a grieving news, Hell Let Loose associate producer has passed away at the young age of 28. The young producer developed a few complications after his cardiac surgery and is no longer among us. He played a key role in the development of Hell Let Loose and was one of the main reasons for its success. The team was left in shock and we would all miss him very much. Square Enix's new game Forspoken has been delayed to next year for the PC and PlayStation 5 console. Forspoken is a brand new open RPG game in which players would take the role of Frey and his cat Homer that can use magical spells. The protagonist would be transported to the fantasy world of Athia and would strive to find her new way home. The game was set to release in October 2022, however it seems that it would be delayed a few months. The new supposed release date for the game is now January 24th, 2023. The extra development time would be utilized for polishing the game for maximum experience as stated by the officials. One of the playtesters leaked new info about Skate 4. The playtest apparently took place in a map called Fun City, which seems to be a small map inside of a bigger map. Players can experience 3 control systems, namely Classic, Streamlined, and Experienced. Moreover, it was also revealed that players can customize their characters in Skate 4, including shirts, and they can reach a max level of 100. Players would also be able to craft using materials and blueprints. And to players' surprise, Yu-Gi-Oh! Cross Deal released on Android. The game apparently released on Android devices without hype or any notification. The game would also release for the iOS devices soon. The game was announced last year in July and testing for the game took place in October. However, after a period of silence, players can now avail the game on Android. Bright Memory Infinite is now releasing on consoles on July 21st. The game was the latest addition to the first-person shooter genre but was only released for PC devices despite great reception. However, now the game would be released for a lot of major consoles including Xbox Series X/S, PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch. The PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Store has only the gold edition of the game available. However, the Microsoft Store shows the Infinite edition of the game. The title would be an amazing FPS shooter with a compelling story. The game would also feature hack-and-slash swordplay, powers, and guns to make the combat exciting. Well, that's all for this week's episode of This Week in Gaming. We hope to see you next time in best health till the next episode. Until then, see ya!